Hello and a very warm welcome to Middle East Matters. I'm Sanam Shantier. Coming up on this week's programme, Palestinian French lawyer Salah Hamouri is freed by Israel, who speaks of the country's arbitrary detention of Palestinian political prisoners. The ongoing conflict in Syria and Iraq is taking a toll on Yazidi children. Many have been kidnapped, others tortured, and even transformed into child soldiers. Today, their parents are trying to buy them back. Also coming up, a conversation with Georges Chakra, a Beirut-based Lebanese couture designer. Our reporters went to meet him during Paris Fashion Week. All those stories coming up, but first to Israel, which saw the release of French-Palestinian lawyer Salah Hamouri. The 33-year-old had been held in prison without charge for 13 months and ordered to pay a fine worth 3,000 shekels, that's just over 700 euros. Following his release, and in an interview with France 24, Hamouri recounted the abuses suffered by Palestinians under the Israeli administrative detention, where prisoners can be held without trial for 6-month periods.
In the company of family and friends, Salah Hamouri enjoys his first moments of freedom after over a year in prison in southern Israel's Negev desert, under what the country calls administrative detention. Hamouri has always claimed his innocence.
I have been interrogated more than once, but the intelligence has no file against me. This is why I was transferred to administrative detention. Administrative detention is a way of targeting the Palestinian people. It is a means to keep the Palestinian people in prison.
Administrative detention, which allows imprisonment without trial for renewable 6-month periods, has been criticized by human rights organizations. Israel says it allows authorities to hold suspects while continuing to gather evidence with the aim of preventing attacks. Hamouri says he was not given the reason for his arrest. His case was discussed at the highest level between French President Emmanuel Macron and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but talks never led to his release. Hamouri is 33 years old. He was born in Jerusalem to a French mother and a Palestinian father, and was previously detained between 2005 and 2011. He was accused of plotting to assassinate a prominent Israeli rabbi and belonging to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which Israel, the US, and the European Union list as a terrorist group. He denies both allegations. According to the Palestinian NGO Addameer, more than 5,500 Palestinians are currently being held in Israeli prisons.
Moving on to Iraq, where 4 prominent women have been murdered over the recent weeks. One of them, 22-year-old social media star and model Tara Faris, who was shot dead in the capital. The common thread linking these women was their high profiles and lifestyles that polarized Iraq's largely conservative society. Now, the country's prime minister has launched an investigation into these systematic killings. Let's now listen to reactions from people on the streets of Baghdad.
People are beginning to get scared because of the assassination cases, especially the girls. This is affecting their energy and talent in a very negative way. I don't know. It's because our country is so backwards.
It's a message of terror to the community, not just the killing of those activists in Baghdad and Basra. It's also a message of terror to the Iraqi women and families.
Millions of children have been caught in the middle of the ongoing conflicts in Syria and Iraq, especially those belonging to the Yazidi community, a religious minority targeted by the Islamic State group. Today, some parents are trying to buy back their children from the militants. Here's Clare Rush with that story.
The children in this refugee camp are all Yazidis, an ethnic minority that was reduced to slavery under the Islamic State rule. This father had to buy back his own wife and children from IS fighters. It's only been a month since they were reunited in exchange for 38,000 euros paid to the middlemen who got them out. A huge sum which he was forced to borrow.
I was determined to find them. I even thought about selling my own kidney to come up with the money.
His wife was kept apart from their children during their 3 years in captivity.
The fighter I was forced to marry said he was going to sell my daughter and son to another jihadist. I said, no, I don't want to be separated from them. But he replied, you don't make the decisions here, that's just how it is.
The father will be reimbursed by the region's Kurdish authorities, who've created an agency dedicated to reuniting families and buying back the children who've been taken as slaves. The department paid 10,000 euros for this teenager. He says he was tortured when he tried to escape for the first time.
When I decided a few days ago to try to escape again, they shot at me. That's how he injured my hand.
The agency's director welcomes him, while also trying to gauge if he's been brainwashed. But the question remains, is the money being paid to buy back children ending up in Islamic State hands?
For us, all these questions about money are not important. The important thing is to save lives, and that's what we're doing.
It's estimated 1,500 Yazidi children are still being held captive by the IS group in Syria. But for this boy, the nightmare is over, as he finally looks at photos of his loved ones, the first time he's seen them in 4 years.
Paris Fashion Week is in full swing, and our reporters went to meet with Beirut-based Lebanese mogul Georges Chakra. Here's a report from Valérien Gauthier.
Bonjour, bienvenue chez moi.
With precise strokes of his pencil, a silhouette emerges, an image that emanates the ethos of the brand.
To describe Georges Chakra, it's elegance, creativity, and innovation.
These qualities have infused Georges Chakra's collections for over 30 years. After studying in Canada, the haute couture designer opened a small atelier in 1985 in the living room of his Beirut home. A city at war, Chakra sought beauty in the devastation.
It's not something convenient at that time. But the ladies goes out a lot, and she wants to be beautiful and elegant. And I was the one at that time. And that's the beginning of Georges Chakra in Beirut.
To this day, his country still remains a source of inspiration.
The color of, the sun, the beautiful weather, if you are at the mountain, the green inspired me a lot. So it's a beautiful country, and you get really inspired in Lebanon.
Chakra was first reluctant to enter the international fashion scene, but his popularity left him with little choice.
Lots of clients pushed me to come to Paris. It was really a dilemma, between me and the whole team. And we decided, finally, we are in Paris, we present in Paris, and we start doing the fashion shows since 2001.
His haute couture collections have been lauded across the world. It takes between 200 to 3,000 hours to create a single gown, but Chakra's red carpet following has proven its effort well spent. His fans include Sharon Stone, Queen Rania of Jordan, supermodel Heidi Klum, and actresses like Eva Longoria, Blake Lively, and Helen Mirren. For his latest collection, the designer has taken Belle Epoque fashion icon Marchesa Casati as his muse, a woman who had been described as a piece of living art. The result? Light, extravagant creations full of grace.
Well, that's it from us this week. If you want to, you can reach out to us and contact us via Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Natalie Savarikas, and you'll usually find me in news, reporting on Greece's enduring financial turmoil and protests, but also the refugee emergency, here on France 24.
Natalie Savarikas, one of the 160 France 24 correspondents around the world.